You already know that a vector is a directed line segment. You also know that the starting point of a vector is called its initial point, and its end point is called its terminal point. A vector whose initial and terminal points are the same is called a zero vector. A zero vector is denoted by 0 with an arrow above it, since the length of the line segment forming a zero vector is nil. The magnitude of a zero vector is 0. A zero vector has no fixed direction. A vector whose magnitude is 1 is called a unit vector. A unit vector is represented as shown. Two or more vectors having the same initial point are called co-initial vectors. Here vectors AB and AC have the same initial point A, and thus are co-initial vectors. Now consider a line L parallel to vector AB. Also consider vectors EF, MN and OP, all parallel to line L, like vector AB. Two or more vectors that are parallel to the same line are called collinear vectors. Here vectors AB, OP, MN and EF are parallel to the same line L. Hence, they are collinear vectors. Since vector AC is not parallel to line L, it is not collinear to the other vectors shown here. Observe that collinear vectors may have different magnitudes. Also note that collinear vectors may have opposite directions. Now, consider vectors OP and AB with the same direction and magnitude. Two vectors with the same direction and magnitude are called equal vectors. Hence, vectors AB and OP with the same direction and magnitude are equal vectors. Note that equal vectors may have different initial and terminal points. Now, suppose we reverse the direction of vector OP. So now we have two vectors AB and PO with equal magnitude, but opposite directions. Two vectors with the same magnitude but opposite directions are called negative vectors of each other. Thus, vector PO is called the negative vector of vector AB and is also written as vector BA. Similarly, vector AB is called the negative vector of vector PO and is also written as vector OP. Note that all equal vectors are collinear vectors, but all collinear vectors are not equal. A pair of collinear vectors may be negative vectors of each other. Consider a vector AB as shown. Let us change the position of vector AB such that its direction and magnitude do not change. Then, in each new position, vector AB is parallel to its initial position and represents the same vector. A vector that is independent of its position is called a free vector. Thus, a free vector is not bound by any fixed initial or terminal points. In this chapter, we will deal only with free vectors.